Welcome back, I'm Tratus Gray, and in this video, I'm going to be upgrading Dungeon Delving for the beginner that is brand new to Magic the Gathering Arena. Now, of course, if you're a veteran player, don't fret. You can actually skip ahead in the timestamps where your heart desires for the content and check out the rest of the video. And as always, thank you, anyone that watches this video. Thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. If you are a beginner, please stick around to the end of the deck tech discussion, as I will also explain how you can actually upgrade this deck for free, essentially, and the ways that I went about upgrading it for free. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the deck tech real quick. Dungeon Delving 2.0 Tratus version. So let me pull up real quick the original deck here on my other monitor. There we go. This is going to help me as I'm going through the columns, explain what has been taken out and why I've kind of added the way I've added things. And also, it's going to kind of, for the beginner of this deck that might not have played it, or they're wondering what kind of synergies there is, maybe I can give you some other thoughts about how to use the cards as well. So going to our first column here, it's Ranger's Hawk. All I did was add another one. And in fact, the cool thing about having 4 of these is if you have a turn 1 play, awesome. If you have this on the board later in the game, it can also serve as a mana sink, because you can put 3 in to tap another untapped creature you control and venture into the dungeon and activate only as a sorcery. There's times that I use this as well whenever the board state of my opponent maybe isn't quite developed. Of course, you have to use this only as a sorcery. It's not something you can use at instant speed. Yes, you are opening up the lanes a little bit when you tap another creature, but the whole point of this deck is dungeon delving, right? Going into our 2-drop columns, I added an extra Thunderous Orator. It's a Vigilance 2/2 creature that whenever it attacks, it gains flying until end of turn if you control a creature with flying. And the same is true, very important here, if it has First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, and Trample. As you're going to find out as we go through the rest of the deck, there's a little bit of synergy that this Orator can combine with. Going into the next card, and this is where you do have to add some rares to the deck, you actually get 1 Null Priest of Oblivion for free. The Null Priest of Oblivion, you can pay to, or you can kick it for an additional 4 mana, so you're paying 6 total to get a 2/1 creature onto the board with Menace and Lifelink. The cool thing about it is, if you kick it, you can return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is just nutso whenever you have mana to spend in the late game. So when you get this in your hand very early on, you do have to make the conscious decision of, am I going to play it early, or am I going to save it for bringing something back, right? The third card here is Triumphant Adventurer. Oh my gosh, I love anything with First Strike. And if you just add Death Touch to it as well, oh, it's so spicy. It's so spicy that, of course, I had to add 3 more to this deck. Plus, whenever it attacks, it ventures into the dungeon. And because it's got Death Touch and First Strike, it's going to have to take a removal spell to get rid of it, or at least 2 creatures, so that you can at least apply the 1 point of First Strike damage, because remember, in combat, First Strike goes first and then regular combat. And so if they're only blocking with 1 creature that does not have First Strike, your Triumphant Adventurer is going to venture into the dungeon and do it safely, because it's going to apply that Death Touch to that creature right at the start, because First Strike happens first and then the rest of combat does. So it does take 2 creatures. It doesn't matter if a 10/10 is blocking me. I've already applied the First Strike damage and it's Death Touch, which means it's gone. So it does take another 2 permanents, another 2 creatures to be able to take this guy out, or something else with First Strike. Vanishing Verse, I did add 3 more to the deck. This is very powerful, very cheap removal for 2 mana. It's it's, of course, you do have to pay attention to the text here. It only exiles target monocolored permanent, but exile is so strong because if there's a creature that has text on it, like, we're just gonna go real quick to Shamelin Gas in the treasure hunt deck, right? The text on here only applies to the creature if it dies. If you exile it, it didn't die. You just put it into the Twilight Zone or some other place, other dimension. It's the exile zone, okay? But just, you know, feel the magic with me. You've put it into another zone. It didn't die. That's the strength of exile, is that they can't replay it from their graveyard unless they got something to pull it from exile. They can't, the text on the card doesn't happen because it's been exiled. Now let's go back to the deck. Now, what I did take out was Demonic Gifts, the Malakir Blood Priest. Sorry for my mispronouncing it. And that was it. That was it in the 2-drop column from the original deck that I took out. The reason I took out Malakir Blood Priest is because it operates off of a party mechanic. And yes, you do got wizards, clerics. This doesn't contribute to anything party-wise. This doesn't contribute to anything party-wise. This doesn't either. This is a cleric. This is not contributing. You do have a wizard, and you got a rogue. Okay, so yes, there is a little bit of party mechanics in the deck, but if I'm going to be building a party deck that cards are going to activate off of, I want more I want 100% party synergy. That's just me. So for me, it was an easy, like, yeah, you're going to go and I'm going to add other cards in of value to the deck, right? So Malakir Blood Priest went away, and Demonic Gifts, while it is a neat combat trick, I wanted more synergy with going into the dungeon faster with other cards, that, of course, that were cheap and effective and just dangerous to do it for the opponent if they're blocking. Starting into the 3-drop column, Cloister Gargoyle. This gets really nice whenever you complete a dungeon because it gets a +3 and gains flying. The other cool thing about it is, for a 3-drop, is that it's got a big booty. It can block things, little aggro things, and also it just ventures into the dungeon. As soon as it enters into the battlefield, boom, you're going into another dungeon. That's perfect for this deck. It gives you a little bit of kind of something to block with, and then once you've completed that dungeon, hello, it gains flying and +3 as well. Nadar. The reason I love this card, I love this card, and I love the fact that they give you one. Whenever I started D&D, I actually started as a paladin, and this just seeing this just brings out the kid in me, and I love playing this because, of course, it enters the battlefield or attacks. It does both. So if you put this into the battlefield or when it attacks, it's going to venture into the dungeon. Sweet, right off the bat. It's 3 power for a 3/3, even better. It's got vigilance on top of that. Okay, how else can we make it even sweeter? Oh, I know. Whenever you have completed a dungeon, all of your creatures get a +1/+1. This is why you need 3. It's a legendary creature, and it's not something that you have to have in your hand all the time whenever you start the game. So that's kind of where I kind of go with my rule of, well, do I put 4 in or do I put 3 in? It's important enough to the deck that I do want to see it, so therefore 3. And because it's legendary, you can only have 1 on the board. So keep that in mind as well, especially if you haven't played with legendary cards before. Finishing the 3-drop column, I have my personal favorite here, Skeletor. That's what I call him, but it's probably Ace React, the Archlich. I am so sorry for mispronouncing it. I have not played Tomb of Annihilation as a D&D player. I'm sorry. But I'm actually kind of still fresh to D&D. y'all can check out my YouTube channel for that, for the Baldur's Gate stuff. But anyway, I call this Skeletor just because it's easier to reference to. I have 3 of this. So the original deck came with 1. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I added 2 Nadars and we added 2 Skeletors, the Archliches. The cool thing about this, and this is why you need, very important here, you need to complete Tomb of Annihilation first, okay? It needs to be the first dungeon you complete first. I would recommend going through the left-hand side. It also, you know, chips away at your opponent, because 9 times out of 10, your opponent is going to take the 2 damage. Especially when you're kind of starting out early, you know, you're chipping away maybe with some damage with your Ranger's Hawk, and then you start venturing into the dungeon of Tomb of Annihilation, and there's another 2 damage. There's another 2 damage. That's if you're going, and of course, each player loses a life. You know, so that's 5 damage just by going through the Annihilation. And you yourself, you may be choosing to also take that damage too. But because life is a resource in Magic the Gathering, and that should be taken into consideration whenever you're making your decisions. If you got the life to spend and you don't want to be discarding a card or sacrificing a creature, artifact, or land, this is something to consider, okay? If you're getting flooded, hey, you know, that's when I sacrifice a land. Anyway, going back to Skeletor, the Archlich. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if you have not completed Tomb of Annihilation, it goes right back into your hand. But it also, before it goes back into your hand, it ventures into the dungeon. That's really cool. That's really great. If you don't have anything else to play, this gets onto the board and boom, ventures into the dungeon for you, progressing you through Tomb of Annihilation if you need to. Of course, the cool thing about this is it's a 3-drop that's a 5/5, and whenever it attacks, for each opponent, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token unless that player sacrifices a creature. So you're going to start getting, you know, zombies onto the board just by right tapping it, just by swinging in with the Archlich. Our last 3-drop is a 1T Fangblade. It's got Death Touch. Again, I love the Death Touch in it, because you may use this card offensively, because when you do, if it deals combat damage to a player, it will venture into the dungeon. So the opponent may not actually have a card that they want to just, you know, block with into the 1T Fangblade. The other thing I like about this is that it gives me a little bit of flexibility too. Like, maybe I don't want to use it aggressively. Maybe because it's got Death Touch, I use it just as a wall. Like, if you swing in, I'm going to take out your big creature. And so take that with, you know, however you feel, and whatever kind of arena experience you're having at the moment. You can use it aggressively, and that's what it's designed for. But it's got Death Touch, whether you leave it behind or not, so you have options. As far as what I took out in the 3-drop column, like I kind of mentioned, I added another Gargoyle, I added 2 Nadars, added 2 Archliches, and I trimmed a Fangblade off. The other things I took out was the 2 Gloomstalkers and the Precipitous Drops. I took those out because I wanted to simplify the deck as much as possible while keeping some amount of removal, but keeping the creatures that I thought would just you know, keep it simple. Sometimes when you're trimming off a deck or you're trying to make it a little better, just getting it to the nitty gritty is where you want to be. You could add the Precipitous Drops back if you can't afford getting the Vanishing Verses or the extra closing statement here, because the deck comes with 3. I added another one. You could do that. There is nothing wrong with that. So going into the 4-drop column, I just kept it simple. We kept 3 of the Borrowwinds, and then I took out the Dungeoneers and the Silver Quill Command. The 5-drop column, they came with 3 closing statements, and all I did was add an extra one. Going into the land drop column here, I did trim off. The original deck came with 9 plains and 10 swamps and 1 pathway, and of course the 4 sinkholes. I did trim off 2 lands, and so I made these even, and then I added another pathway. To be honest, if there's one thing that you upgrade or spend your wild cards on in anything in Magic, in my opinion, it should always be lands. But to get this deck to a smooth feel and a positive experience, I'm going to talk about that positive experience here in just a second. To get it to there, I felt it needed another pathway. It could always use the other two. But I want to keep the deck budgeted for brand new person to arena. But let's talk about budget. Starting with our uncommons, it's actually a total of 3 uncommons, okay? It's 1 Orator, 1 Gargoyle, and 1 extra closing statement. That's really doable. That's very doable. As far as the rares go, hang with me here just a second. It is 11 rares, but there's a big but. You do not have to put the extra pathway in. The deck is still playable without the extra pathway. So that would bring you to 10, okay? And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have the extra rares to add more Vanishing Verses, you could put the Precipitous drops back because that's what the original deck gives you. Now, as far as what I've added, as far as rares go, it was the 3 extra Adventurers, the 3 extra Verses, the 2 extra Oblivions, and the 2 Nadars as well. 2 extra Nadars. So that completes it for the rares, other than the extra pathway. Mythics. All I did was add 2 Archliches. Now, how can this deck be essentially free, traders? You're probably wondering, and I'll tell you how. To make this deck for free, first off, as a person new to Arena, step number 1, complete your color challenge series. Step number 1. Okay, it is time gated, but doing that will give you gold. You can probably use the gold to get extra packs, and those packs will also open up and give you some wild cards. If you don't know what wild cards are, I will put a link for the wild card video that I made that explains what they are, how to use them, and how to make other cards in Arena using those wild cards. I'll put it in the description below. Step number 2. Okay, you completed your color challenge series. That's very important. Step number 2 is you get free codes. That's right. If you don't know what these free codes are, check out my Discord in the links below. Go to my Discord. Once you're in the Discord, go into the Magic the Gathering channel, and at the top near the right, you're going to see a little thumbtack. You click that, it's going to show a website that's updated every month with the codes that are circulating that give you packs of cards, okay? Also cosmetics and things of that nature, and where to find other free codes for other decks. That site has it all. Check it out. I would love it if you just hit a like on the video just to show your support. It's super free. If you haven't subscribed, check that out as well. That's also free. And if you want to show your support even further, you can just comment, say, hey, thanks. You know, just something like that. Any of that goes a long, long, long way. Thank you guys so much for that in advance. Now, going back to step number 2, get your free codes. The other thing I did as well, and you can call this step 3 if you want. I personally bought the welcome pack to Magic the Gathering Arena. For me, it was a good value buy, and I wanted extra packs. So again, that also generates wild cards. Before you get on to the gameplay, I just wanted to thank you again for watching this, and sincerely appreciate that. And just let me know in the comments below anything that you might have changed, how you feel about it, how it's going for you. I would love to know. So until the next time, I'm Traders of Gray, and I hope you enjoy. Not bad. I prefer not getting the tapped lands, but, you know, what am I going to do? The hand is playable, though. We got a slap. Yep. Yep. What is this? Each player loses unless they discard a card. I could go ahead and do this. Figured. We playing a giant deck? Oh, I think we are, possibly. Fine. All right. Yep, giant deck. I like this. It gives me ideas because I want to play a giant deck. I really do. Might as well. Deals double that damage. I mean, we can get it on the board now. It's fine. It's instant. I can worry about it later. So it's gonna deal 6. Maybe I should have got rid of it. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, probably should have. Knowing that they have crush, squash. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I'll take the... Take this. opponent gave you a good game? Yeah, I noticed that. They might have something. Thank you for the follow. Oh, that one I cannot get rid of with my Vanishing Burst. Yep. I guess I can go with this. Do that. Send it in. Well, I take good game to be all kinds of different ways, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be just, you know, hey, it really is a good game. You know, like, hey, that's pretty good. But, you know, it could also mean something negative. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing, right? I say good game, you know, when I'm like, wow, I'm not going to pull through on this, you know? But I may write it out to see how it does, like I did with that other game, you know? But game. Yes, it is. All right, here comes the wipe. Oh, they get to scry. I thought it was the board wipe one where they do 5 to all non-giants or something like that. Oh. My turn. All right. Play this down. And we all attack. They're down to 1. We end the turn. They're gonna do 2 damage to me. Okay. Man, they are digging. Yep, here comes the 4 damage to everything. Okay. Now, if they had done... All right. Go ahead and smack me for 3. Yep, good game. But yeah, I don't always take it as a negative. I mean, who knows? I think, you know. But they had a nice giants deck. I liked it. Unfortunately, they got too many glimpses and not enough giants, right? I mean, it's supposed to be a giants deck. Nos. I like it. I like it. Now, probably what I could have done was maybe bring back the borrow in, but it, you know, it just wasn't going to work out in our favor. Okie dokie. What kind of deck are we playing? Is it a control? Maybe control. Could very well be a control deck. Well, this ventures and gets something onto the board. There we go. 2 ventures right off the bat. Not too shabby. I get to venture 2 more times with these guys if they survive. We are playing a tricolor deck. Oh, interesting. Well, let's venture away, shall we? Wow. Yeah. Ship it. Let's go. I'll take that 3. I've lost some life. I think I'm gonna go down this one. They have to sacrifice a creature or don't, and I create a zombie. Now they may have a Doomscar, which is why I'm not gonna play anything. I want to be able to bring something back. I got plenty on the board. I do not need to add to this. They play another land, a Doomscar would come into play if they have it. It is a foretell card. There we go. So I play this land and I get back my my guy here. What do I want? Do I want him or do I want Nadar? Probably the 5/5. It is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, this buffs everything. I'm just gonna bring that to the battlefield. Yeah. Okay. Creature tokens you control get 1/1. Does this exile? Yeah, it exiles, so it's not going to give him a token, and he died. Pretty good. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's get another game in. Well, it's all white in our hand. We can start with this. Sure. I think I'm going to play the Sinkhole first. Just to kind of get it going. I can play this on turn 2. Or I can play 2 Ranger Hawks. Actually, not bad. You know, I can send in 1 Ranger Hawk and start venturing. I don't know. I think having different ways to venture into the deck is probably going to be a good thing. Because the Ranger Hawks are nice and all, but you gotta have creatures on the board to venture with, right? So I need more aggressive things that when they slap onto the table, it ventures. And I might even go as far as saying I need 4 Nadars and 4 Skeletors, the Archlich. Is my opponent lagging out? It may have disconnected, actually. Yeah, they're not moving their cards or anything. I think they disconnected. They could be on the phone. The dog came in, kids came in. You know, it did discard stuff, so I think I just do this and say go. Yeah, there's no reason why to discard land. I think they got disconnected. Oh, they're back. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and start the venturing. Yeah, I think having 4 Skeletors and maybe another Nadar, pretty dang handy in this deck. All right, red and white with Foretell. Who knows? Playing this and probably venturing. No point smacking in for 1, right? Cancel. I'm not gonna discard a card. I'll take the 2 life. No attacks. So they seem to be some kind of equipment deck. It could be, well, with Foretell. I can't remember what is Foretell. Okay. I play this and then do a closing statement? Probably. No attacks. But is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it. It is an instant. But, well... Damn. I should have just activated the sorcery and ventured. Gosh, dog. I got... this is called 4 o'clock in the morning thinking right here. I should have just... Okay. Well, now we gotta get rid of it. Okay. Okay, all right. So we smack for all and then closing. No, we hold 1 back, right? And then we do this. gonna decline. I'll take 2. They take 2. And we'll put 1 on this guy. Or actually this one. Yeah. Do that. Okay. Play this twice. If they have Doomscar, we're effed. But that felt good. Closing my eyes. We can just swing wide here, and I think we got it. We also can do this. Well, our opponent could have had 5 lands if they'd been a little awake. But real life could have happened and got in the way. Still a good game. And we had the answers. So that's good. Or it's like Shock said, they're thinking, holy crap, it's Tratus. I mean, that'd be nice. You know, and in its current format. So just adding this little splash of stuff to kind of make it a little bit more competitive, I think works out. It really does bite when we get the mono lands. Maybe we just take those out because it's just too slow. That is something else to consider. What am I doing here? I'm just playing a land. Yeah. Forgot what I was doing. White weenie. All right. Play this and happily trade if they want. They got a portable hole or something like that. They can definitely use it. Or that is something. Oh. Oh. Okay then. Yes. Please. That is a great trade for us. Very good trade. I don't have to Vanishing Verse yet. I can play this. They go. Get some damage with it in. Unless they strike it down because they are playing red and white. Spellbinder comes into play. They're probably going to take my Vanishing Verse now, which does kind of bite. Bites just a little bit. I should have taken Blade, because if I draw another land, it doesn't do them any good. Which I didn't draw any land, so there you go. So there is that. Let's venture into the dungeon. Okay. Play another Death Touch. I'm going to take 4. I didn't draw a land. My opponent is now up at 4. Paladin class comes into play. Okay. There are some heavy hits, and we still did not draw a land. Awesome. I'm gonna take 8 next go around. getting chumped. They're flying, so it doesn't do us any good. Sticking around here. Sure. Get rid of that. Not afford to get rid of land. So we got some chumps. Hold span. Heal. That will do it. Actually, no, we are still in the game, actually, surprisingly. Surprisingly. But nothing to block, and we still didn't draw land again. So now we're dead. Let's play our white to get our daily partway done. Yeah. We'll say go. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, we'll just scry, whatever. Yeah. We weren't gonna get land anyway for another turn. 22 lands is fine. Fine. Shuffler, even if we had 25, there is still a chance you can draw nothing but not land. 22 is fine. Our mana curve is 2.6. I think we're fine. Okay, so technically I'm supposed to mulligan, but I can deal with this. I feel like chances of drawing land is pretty high. 38%, so that's not bad. Need to draw land. Play you. Not bad. Yeah, let's get something on the board. You can always add a counter to this too. I think the Fate's reversals, I think I'm gonna go back to the way I had it. A lot here. 5. The land's in, that's good. Yeah, I think we smack in. We'll get rid of you. And then we can block the Hellhound if another land comes into play. Yeah, I don't know about keeping the Fates reversals. I think it's a little slow. Pretty much have to do this. Adventure. Player loses a life. Get the attack in. That works for us wonderfully. Okay. Land pops in. Good. We could just chump here. No point in taking 6. When you attack, excuse me, pardon me. No point in smacking in for 3 right now. Let's just hold back. Actually, I will do this if they want to be making any kind of trades. You do have to take 2 to block. Okay. Yeah, so I take both of them out. We will get rid of you, so you don't, and we'll put a counter on you. Working in our favor. Okay. Still working in our favor. Oh, wow. Might as well play it. We get to venture. We're not discarding. I'm fine trading right now. Yep. Doing good for us right now. Doing good. This is where keeping our death touch back very beneficial. Because the mammoth does not get trampled. So you can spend mana to double his power and toughness. So we're not going to fall for that, but we will easily take this out. Easily. Ooh. I'm gonna hit decline. I was gonna say that worked out perfect for us. I imagine this deck performing at a 60%, maybe 55%. I mean, that's still a positive win ratio. Whether you, what kind of math you want to look at that, you know, I still see this being a positive. The more decks you play, and of course, the more games you play, the more, you know, things you can upgrade into this deck. Getting better lands is going to be key. So yeah, we're probably playing mono green, maybe gain life. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out. Okay. So you may play additional. Okay, and you draw a card. So ramping up. There's the white. So we want to be very aggro-licious here. Let's attack. Go for this. Perfect. Just to get something else on the board. Actually, let's go ahead and get another adventure down. Yeah. Perfect. Go for it. Let's get two. Yeah. All right, spirit comes down. More snows. All right. Nice, nice. Oh, a 3-color deck. Okay, respect. Do this. I definitely want to venture twice. Fine. Fine. Next. Okay. So that gives me some ideas here. Bring you in, venture. All right. That's a board state. Okay, let's see what happens just by sending these into play. Okay, bottoming that. Let's see what kind of blocks they do here. You don't do any, so we get the 2 in. I think it's okay to play you and you. doing a lot of ramping, but for what? Just to make the bear? Not a bad deck. Yeah, you got this in there now. Bookworm. Nice, interesting big creatures. I don't know what the black is there for yet. Okay. This is going to be huge. I say you can't attack, but I think I just kill it. And then grab treasure token. Or do I want the skeleton? I was gonna say, I wouldn't stick around.